Hey friends, I just wanted to take a quick moment to ask if you could check out the Blood Donut Studios Patreon. There's no obligation, of course, but if you're a fan of what we do, you can get all kinds of fun things like Star Trek commentaries, early access to our Star Trek reviews, extra bits of fresh-faced comics, and your name in the description of every Blood Donut video. That'll all be linked below. Thank you for your time. On with the show. Hello and welcome to Fresh Faced One Shots. My name is Joey.
And I'm Jacob.
And today we are back with Wonder Woman by Tom King. This is issue number 23, the proper start of a brand new story arc known as The Island of Mice and Men. We had a little prelude to this last time, but this is our first proper chapter in this new story arc. And goddamn, what an issue. I think it's safe to say even you love this one.
I mean, I loved most of it. I loved most of it. Things I didn't love, I'll be really, really quick. Not the biggest fan of the cover. That's partially Joey's fault.
Hey. I have nothing to do with this. Frank, you're blaming Frank Miller on this, actually.
Yes,
but
I'm blaming Frank Miller.
When the cover does come into it, I did kind of think, like, when we get the actual scene where Diana shows up dressed as she is on the cover, like, I kind of thought that King made Diana overtly compassionate in her first scene dressed like that, because, like, because I think the connotation, to be very clear with our audience, the connotation we're talking about being carried alongside this cover, and this outfit is a version of Wonder Woman that isn't very kind, written by Frank Miller from Dark Knight 3 Master Race, which we, at the time of this coming out, have recently covered on the podcast, and you should check out that episode, because
where if you really want an incompassionate Wonder Woman, any of the character written by Frank Miller, like
yeah, exactly, yeah. But particularly with the whole, like, baby strapped to her back and everything, you know, it's very reminiscent of that particular version of the character. But I honestly loved her when she actually came into the story like that. But my God, I love the way we get a little teaser page at the start here, the whole Mouse Man nose thing, and I was like, okay, this feels like, to me at least, the way this issue opened felt very, like, you know, kind of typical Tom King shit. I was like, okay, cool. It's like, you know, here are like some key phrases just to like get the reader to latch onto, which is something that King employs a lot in his writing, and I've never had a problem with that personally.
I think this time Tom King might be saying something about conformity.
Yeah, crazy thought.
I also have a sneaking suspicion that this might have been written at some point after last November. I have this feeling.
You might be right, Jacob. You might be right. But of course, we're sort of flashing back and forth between our Mouse Man Island, as it's known, and the Justice League Watchtower, where we have a great little scene early on here between Diana and Stephanie Brown. I like this moment of aspiration from Stephanie, and like in a story arc, in a place where King has very much written Diana as not feeling quite herself, to have a moment where a character can like look up to her, and in this way, I think is really important. It's a great scene to have here. And then of course Diana sees Mr. Terrific, and we learn that she has put in a request for the Justice League at large to investigate Mouse Man Island, because she has been made aware by Anna Candy that the Sovereign's child, as we learn from the end of the Sovereign arc, is being held on this island, and Diana wants to go retrieve this kid, but it turns out that the island is protected, and they can't sort of like go there like on an official capacity, and Diana shouldn't go there either because, you know, hero and all that.
And the Justice League has government contracts, which I think King's trying to say something
crazy. I wonder.
It's not exactly. I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards.
I feel like I said that multiple times talking about specifically this run, and it's great.
Well, some of it's also just Tom King does not use. Tom King is textual to the point of heavy-handedness, and sometimes that screws him over a little bit. Like,
I love this in particular, though, because as we continue to see the scenes on Mouse Man Island, we see the repeated phrases from earlier just continually used for all dialogue, people singing, everything. It's Mouse Man knows mice have ears, and Mouse Man knows mice have ears in that combination. And God, there's a great who did the lettering on this? Letters by Clayton Cowles, and I feel like it is one of those great opportunities. First off, for Daniel Sampere to really show off his art, but also for Clayton Cowles as a letterer to really show off how dialogue bubbles can be used in a really effective way to tell a story in and of themselves, even when the dialogue isn't actually saying anything. The dialogue is saying something about conformity, but because the dialogue is so monotonous and repetitive, it allows the speech bubbles to kind of tell the story in addition to the art, and I really, really love that. It's a great idea. When I realized what was happening, I was utterly blown away by the idea here. Because all throughout this, we're following this kid who sort of like goes to school, and we sort of like see a day in the life of a kid that lives on this island, and isn't actually allowed to, like, you know, think anything else. There's this like scene where she's in school.
This is a kid set up design wise as slightly nonconformist by having pink hair and green eyes, like a very specific shade of green, whereas everyone else is kind of typical child. King doesn't have Sampere go so far as like give them school uniforms, but it feels like if you really wanted to do it at home, give them school uniforms. Make that point even weirder. But yeah, in a lot of ways it's also something about like the cadence of, like you said, of the speech bubbles, and where they change slightly that you realize what's kind of going on.
Because it's still telling a story. They're saying the same phrases over and over again. There's this scene where the girl mocks this other kid, and it might have ears, and she's like sticking out her tongue, and then the teacher walks up to her, and she keeps saying it over and over again, and this sort of like panic. It's written in a panicked way. It's just that same phrase over and over again, no spaces in between, and you feel that fear from this kid in this moment, and like it's ridiculous because they're saying something utterly ridiculous. But I don't know. I was still kind of moved by it. I still loved what King was going for here, and of course Sampere and Clayton Cowles on the letters here. I don't know. I was absolutely in love with this. All the while we're watching Diana sort of like come to the conclusion that she has to go there herself and deal with this problem. I'm very curious to eventually see, because I'm sure we will in the coming issues, see what led our ridiculous Silver Age mouse man that took over the White House with giant mice. What led him to this point? I need to know how it became this. I'm really excited for that. We see the literal like police state that is Mouseman Island, and sort of there are these sort of rebels that exist on the street here that attack this girl's like father, and they sort of like drag him away. I'm curious actually what you think of this scene, but then between Diana, Bruce, and Clark here, our Trinity scene on the Watchtower, because there's very minimal dialogue, and it's Diana's like essentially like coming to the conclusion that she has to deal with this herself. I don't know. I found this fascinating.
I think it's minimal to the point of it's one of your points where King is letting the reader read it how they want to read it.
Because we're kind of doing the. Clark is this mediator between them, and Bruce is being very authoritative, and we're also following on very briefly for a moment here the Diana and Bruce arc back in our Greek god murder mystery a couple issues back, where like Diana is like, Aphrodite was right, you are cute, and she like sort of like brushes him off, and like it is Diana very much like taking a stand for herself, and
yeah, I don't entirely necessarily agree with like Bruce and Clark wouldn't be this. It's like I feel like it's supposed to be middle enough that we're supposed to read it one way, and we will probably get like no, they both want Diana to go and fix this, because
I don't think either of them do though. I really don't. I think not that they don't want her to go fix this, but it is very much like they want her to play by the rules, and Diana is very much not in a position to be wanting to do that right now, especially given what her goal here ultimately is. I'm interested to see. I'm assuming we'll get more development on that in the coming issues. But we do get to see this another scene on the island here where this girl is attacked by this guy who's then eaten by a giant mouse. And like now, for some reason, once again, and just the stark contrast between the last issue and this one, like I'm very much taking this giant mouse eating a guy really seriously. And like it is this, I don't know, there's a massive tone shift here that I'm just really buying into. And I'm really digging the way that King is doing it. And then of course Diana saves this girl. We get this great scene between them where Diana is like immediately compassionate, and she gives this big speech to her, and It seems this girl's reaction is to scream, and I would assume this is because she has heard other words, she has heard nonconformity, and I'm excited for what King is doing here. I can't wait to see where this goes. It just looked kind of like our funny little last panel with Trinity on Diana's back, kind of alarmed by this. It's just cute. But that is where the issue ends, and I don't know. I'm a huge fan of this one. I'm excited to see where this one goes.
This one was good. This one was good. I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm kind of hope it's a lot of just Diana on her own, honestly. Like,
it seems like it will be. I mean, aside from the baby strapped to her back.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, I imagine it will.
It'll be interesting to see how the dialogue next issue works. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Because I mean, I guess everyone on the island is still going to speak this way, and like once again, if that is the case, and King really is going to go that hard at it, I'm even more excited for the level of sort of like visual storytelling we're going to get in the next couple issues. It'll be cool. So, I think that about does it, though. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out other Fresh Face one-shots we do. We cover Superman by Joshua Williamson, obviously Wonder Woman by Tom King, Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman, the spinoff of this comic. We are also reading Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, The End of the Long Halloween Saga, as well as, for the time being, The Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone. I'm so sad.
It's not a canceling the book.
It's pretty much canceling the book.
It's they're doing a big X event, and the book is being retitled. So
it's I don't know. It's not. I'm not going to be reading the same book going forward. Like they've made that pretty clear. I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the outliers are still around. Okay. Let me cope. Let me cope, Joey.
Yeah, we live in hope. All right, I think that also the main podcast, Fresh Face Comics, we recently put an episode on Batman The Dark Knight 3 Master Race, as we have previously mentioned. We also have a bonus episode coming out at the time of releasing this. It's coming out tomorrow. We talked about Superman 2025, the James Gunn film. That'll be out tomorrow. Check that out when that is out, as well as our next episode of Fresh Face Comics, in which we are covering even more Tom King stuff with Batman Rebirth Deluxe Edition Book 3 and our next couple arcs in our Tom King readings, which is episode 99, and then after that we have episode 100, which is just beyond exciting. Cannot wait for that. Be sure to check out our link trees, our socials, and everything will be in the description below. You can follow us wherever you want to follow us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, Blood Note Studios. Any support means the world to us. Check out our Patreon, also on Blood Note Studios. You can check out Star Trek commentaries, early Star Trek reviews, Fresh Face extras, and get your name in the description below in every video we put out. I think that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.